Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Monique. I hope you all are doing well. Compliments of the season. If you are new here, kindly click on the red button below to subscribe. In these tutorials, we'll be learning how to make this overlap jacket with an asymmetric hemline. So let's jump right into it. I'll be using the 2 yards of Ankara fabric for these tutorials. I'll be drafting it on a pattern paper. I've gone ahead to mark the shoulder line, and from the center fold I came in by 4 inches. Then I'll be taking my measurement from this straight line. So the first measurement I'll take is the shoulder width. Half of the shoulder is 7.5. I'm adding half an inch, that's 8 inches. So I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Then from this same line I'll take the neck width. I'm using 3.5 inches for the neck width. Then I'll just take 3 inches for the neck depth. For the purpose of these tutorials, I'll be altering the neckline later on. So I'll go ahead and connect it like so. Then I'll connect the shoulder slope to the neck width. Then from this shoulder slope, I'll take 8 inches for the chest line. So from the main shoulder line, I'll take 9 inches. Then I'll take the shoulder to bust length, which is 11, and shoulder to waist 17, and shoulder to full length. I'm okay with 27 inches. I'm adding 1 inch. That's 28 inches for seam allowance. I'm connecting all the lines. After doing this, I'll take the shoulder width, I'll place it on the chest line. The shoulder width is 8 inches. Then I'll take a straight line to meet the shoulder slope. Then I'll come up by 3 inches. Then I'll take 0.75 for the armhole. The bust is 38. Quarter of 38 will give us 9.5. So I'm adding 1 inch for that and 2 inches for seam allowance. The waist is 32. Quarter of 32 will give us 8 inches. So I'm adding 1 inch for that and 2 inches for seam allowance. The full length, the hip is 42. Quarter of 42 will give us 10.5. I'm adding 1 inch for that and 2 inches for seam allowance. So I'll go ahead and connect the line. So now I'll just connect the armhole like so. Then I'll take the bust span measurement. The bust span is 8 inches. 8 divided by 2 give us 4. I'm adding half an inch. That's 4.5. I'm placing it from the bust line to the full length. Then I'll take a straight line. And from the waistline, I'll take half inch on both sides. Then on this hip line, I'll come up by 2 inches. Then from the bust line, I'll come down by 1 inch. So I'll connect the dots like this. So the next thing I did was I went ahead to trace the front exactly what I have on the back, but I made the armhole of the back half inch wider than the front, that is half inch longer. Then I also went ahead to take 1 inch for the back tightening to avoid bulge at the back, so I took 1 inch. Then now what I did was I traced exactly what I have on the front. I traced it on another pattern paper because my marker was messing up. So now I'm trying to create the armhole princess dart. So I'll just go ahead and connect it from the bust line to this armhole line. That's the midpoint of the armhole. Then from this point I'll come in by 1.5 inches. Then from this line I'll come in by half inch. I'm creating a little dart on this part to tighten the chest area to avoid bulge. So I'll go ahead and connect it to the bust line. Then I'll reshape the armhole. So I'll be using this line here to reshape the armhole. This point here, I'll use it to reshape the armhole because of the darts we are removing out. So this is our armhole princess dart. Then from the main seam allowance, that's the hemline, I'll come up by 4 inches on this center front. I came up by 4 inches. Then on this dart line here, I'm going to come in by 2 or 2.5 inches. So I'll just use 2.5 inches here. So I used 2.5 inches. Then from this side, that's the side seam, on the main line also, I'm going to use 3 inches. I came up by 3 inches. So what I'll do, I'll connect it from this point to this point and from this other point to this point. So I'll make a slant line like so. Then I'll connect it to the other side. That's on the side seam. So this is our style line. Now on the neckline, remember I took 3.5 inches for the neck width. So I'll connect it all the way to meet this point here. So I'll be using my ruler to achieve that. I'll take a slant line for the neckline. It's an overlap dress. So that was why we left 4 inches on the center front to achieve this. So on the back, I repeated the same thing for the armhole princess, but I did not include the side darts on the chest. There's no point. So I just repeated the same thing, exact same thing. Now I'm going to repeat the same thing. Remember the side seam, I came up by 3 inches. So I'll trace it too on the back panel because we need it to tally, because we'll be joining it on the side, so we need it to tally. So I'll just connect it all the way to the dart like this on the back panel. So I hope you understand. So now after doing this, I'm going to tighten the center back to avoid bulge. I don't want the back folding. So from the half length here, I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to take a slant line all the way to the neck width like so. Then I'll repeat it the other parts like so. Then I'll be trimming out this part. So what I removed from this part, I'll just try and replace it on the side. When I'm cutting it on the fabric, I'll replace it here so that we'll not have shortage on our pattern paper. So now I'll be cutting it out. So I'll remove the darts. So this is the back panel. So this is the center back. And this is the side back. On the side back, I noticed that it's a little bit too curvy. Remember, it's on the back. It's not supposed to have too much cover. Our back is not curvy. So I've removed the excess I have on the back so that it will be a little bit straight. So now I'm cutting out the front panel. So I'm following the traces I made. So I'm removing the dart. So this is the side front and the center front. So I'll cut it on the fabric. So this is the back and this is the front. I'll be cutting 2 on each side. So let's place it on the fabric. So this is the lining. I'll be using lining on the dress. So I'm going to place it this way. It's on a fold. I'm cutting 2 for each. I'll do the same thing on the main fabric. I added 1/2 inch for seam allowance on each of the panel. I just added it. It's not necessary though, but it's better I have excess than for me to have shortage. And also on the center back, I replaced what I removed on the side seam, on the zip allowance. So now I'll be joining the panels, that is the side front and the center front, same thing as the side back and the center back. I'll be joining them by 1/2 inch. Now the main fabric, I'll repeat the same thing. I'll be joining each panel together by 1/2 inch. So I'll do that and show you. So guys, I've done that. I've joined it by 1/2 inch. This is the front panel. So these are the 2 panels. I joined it by 1/2 inch. So this is how it's going to be. Then this is the back panel. I joined the side back together, and I also went ahead to join the center back by 1 inch. I closed it. So this is the main fabric. I did the same thing. I joined the center back by 1 inch and I joined the side seams by 1/2 inch. So now that I've done that, the next thing I'm going to do is to place the front lining on the front fabric. So this is the lining. I'm placing it, that is the neckline to the other end like so. So before I sew it, I'll be sewing it by 1/4 inch, but before I do that, I went ahead to cut a band, like a belt. The dress has a belt, so on a fold I cut it by 2.5 inches on a fold. I cut it by 2.5 inches. What I'm going to do, I'll be running a stitch all the way down. Then this is the other one. I cut it a bit shorter. So I made this 25 inches long, and the shorter one I made it 10 inches long. So I'll turn it to the good side like so, good side to good side, and I'll sew it by 1/2 inch. So I repeat the same thing on this, then I'll show you. So I've done that. I went ahead to give it a good press, and we have this. I turned it to the good side. So I'll be placing it on the dress. So what I'll do is, from the shoulder, I took 16 inches. So I'm placing the belt from the shoulder here. I marked 16 inches. So I'll be placing it here. So on this point here. So I'll turn it to the other side like so. So I'll pin it up. So I'll be sewing it. So when I sew it, we'll have something like this when we sew it. So I'll be sewing it all the way to the other end. So I'll repeat the same thing on the other panel. So I'm placing it this way, same thing as we did for the other one. I'll place it this way on the 16 inches mark. Then I'll place the lining on it like this. Then I'll run a stitch by 1/4 inch. Then I'll turn it to the good side. So I'll go ahead and do that. Then I'll come back and show you. So I've achieved that. As you can see, the belt is inside, like so the lining is covering it. So I stitch it, I give it a good press. So this is the other one. Now we're going to have something like this. So I'll be explaining this later, how to fix it, but it's going to overlap each other this way. Now on the back panel, I'll also be joining the neckline good side to good side. So I'll be sewing it by 1/4 inch. Then let's do that. So I've done that. I stitched it by 1/4 inch on the neckline, and we have this. So now I'll be placing the front and the back together. That's the front panel and the back panel. I'll be joining it on the shoulder. So what I'll do, I'll open this up like this. That is this part I stitched on that meets the lining and the fabric. I'll open it up. I'll place it on the back. I'll make sure the lining is aligning with the other lining of the front. So that is lining to lining and fabric to fabric. I'm making sure they align on the stitched part. So I'll be sewing it on the shoulder here by 1/2 inch. I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. I'll open it up this way, place them together, make sure they align. Then I'll secure it with a pin and sew it by 1/2 inch. Then when I sew it, the next thing I'm going to do is to join the side seam. So then I'll turn it over good side to good side like this. I'll place it this way. I'll be sewing the side seam by 1 inch. Remember, we left 2 inches for seam allowance, but to give the dress ease, I will be sewing it by 1 inch. But if you want it a bit tighter, you can decide and check your measurement and do that. So I'll sew fabric to fabric and lining to lining. So I'll place the lining the same way, good side to good side, and I'll be sewing it by 1 inch. I'll turn the other one, repeat the same thing, place them lining to lining, fabric to fabric, and I'll sew it by 1 inch. So I'll do that. So guys, I've done that, as you can see. So this is our lining. As you can see, it's separate. I made the lining separately. I stitched it separately from the main fabric. So we have this. So when we turn it, it's covering it and it's making it look like a suit, like we are making a suit dress. So now on the hemline, I made it 1/2 inch shorter. I made the lining 1/2 inch shorter than the main fabric. The reason why I'm doing that is so that when you sew it, it doesn't come out. So I'll be sewing the hemline by 1/2 inch all the way to the other end. So make sure all the stitch tallies, that is when you are sewing it, all the side seams tallies, the darts, make sure all are tallies. Then I tuck in the belt inside and I'll sew it by 1/2 inch all the way and come back and show you. So I've done that. I've stitched it by 1/2 inch all the way round. So this is what we achieved. So I made sure all the dart line tallies or aligns together. So we have this. I'll just go ahead and iron it now. So I've given it a good press. As you can see, this is what we have. So it's going to be like this. So it's going to overlap. So as you can see, it's already coming out. The next thing I'm going to do is to fix the sleeve. I already have a video on how to draft a basic sleeve. So this is just the pattern. It's a long sleeve, but I'm making mine 3/4 because I noticed I have shortage of fabric. So I decided to make a 3/4 sleeve. So this is the 3/4 sleeve. I'll just go ahead and sew the side by 1 inch. That is the seam allowance. Then I'll be placing it on the armhole. So what I did was I stop stitched the lining and the fabric together on the armhole so that we'll have a firm dress. Then next thing I'm going to do, I'll be attaching the sleeve to the dress on the side seam. I'll make sure it's aligning. Then I'll tuck it in and I'll sew it by 1/2 inch. Then I'll repeat the same thing for this one. Then I'll show you when I'm done. So we've done that. I've stitched it by 1/2 inch all the way around. So I've fixed the both sleeves. So this is the dress. Now the next thing I did was I created a mark here that will be attaching a press button on this shorter band. I'll be attaching a press button here, so I'll be sewing it. Then I'll make sure I place the second press button here on the side seam. So what I did, I wore it and I checked where I want it to be. That is where the press button will be. So I'll be placing it here. Then I'll turn it all the way around. So that is the second band. It will go through the back this way. And I'll turn it to the front like so. So I also created a buttonhole on the longer band. This is the buttonhole I created. So if you have a machine that fixes a buttonhole, then you can do it. So I also top stitch the end of the band here. So this is the button I'll be using for the dress, for the top. So I'll be placing it on the dart line. That is, I'm marking 16 inches from the shoulder, and I'll place the button there. I'll be using my hand needle to do that. So it will look like this. So guys, I've done that. I decided to fix 2 buttons. It's not compulsory. This is just me. I want it to have, maybe if I don't want it too tight, I can, just to give it a little ease. You can use either of the buttons, but for now I'll be using the first button. So we are going to either fix it here or the other one. So like I said, I'm using this first button. So it's going to be like this. So this other shorter one, remember I said I'm going to fix a press button. I've gone ahead to stitch it also. I used my hand needle to sew it, and I fixed the other side on the side seam. So like I said, I wore it and I placed it where I want it to be, so that I'll know if it's too tight or too loose. So this is the back of the dress. So this is what it looks like. The band passed through the back all the way to the front like so. And I also went ahead to weave the armhole. So I'll just go ahead and give it a good press. We've come to the end of this tutorials. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching, and see you in my next video.